The time is now to architect a life of excellence. What will we do? Who will we become? We decide today. This is Learn, Do, Become Radio with April and Eric Perry. Let's move onward and upward together.
Hi friends, this is April Perry from Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm actually sitting in my car today. Today is an April day, and I took a few hours out of the house to be able to think and write and plan and prepare. I have a whole podcast on that if you want to hear how that goes. But today, I'm talking about how it's time for us to be what we believe. And I've been going through kind of a little rough patch and learning some things along the way, and thought I would just share them with you. So I want to start out by just talking about the concept of a rut. Have you ever found yourself there in a rut and you feel like, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. I'm not enjoying this. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm just getting deeper and deeper. And maybe I'm even losing hope that I'm going to get out of it. And I don't feel the joy in life that I know that I should. If you are feeling that way, I want you to know that you're not alone. But what happens is we start to feel this dissonance in our lives where we know that there's something better for us because either we just feel it deep down or we see other people who are living a life that's better, but we don't know how to get there and we don't know why we are where we are, and so we just spin in circles. Now, I've been in a rut for the past couple of weeks. Last week, I actually had a kind of a meltdown type of thing. Part of it, I would say, is sleep deprivation. I've been having some sleep issues and realized that I've been tired for a long time. So I think getting to the point where I was so exhausted I couldn't function or process anything, that was part of it. But when I was in the middle of that exhaustion and thinking about some of the things that I've been either thinking about or going through, I remember vaguely saying to Eric in one of my tired moments, I just want to quit everything. I want to be done with it. I want to cancel it all. I just want to hang it all up. I want to be done. And I was referring mostly to my online platforms, wanting to be done with websites and email lists and social media accounts and podcasting and videos and creating online courses and all of that, because there is a lot of work that goes into it, and sometimes there's technical issues and a lot of maintenance, and it just gets overwhelming sometimes. And I've had lists that just felt too long and they kept getting longer, and then problems would come up, and then I would need to handle things that were happening in my own family, and I felt like I didn't even have the bandwidth to do it, and then trying to take care of myself in the process and trying to be a good wife, and I'm sure you understand. So I said to him, and I didn't totally believe it, but part of me believed that I was ready to just say goodbye to all of it. Now, as soon as I got some rest, I realized I don't want to say goodbye to all of it because I've been working on building these things for 10 years. But sometimes, you just get to the point where you feel tired. So today I'm just going to talk about what I've been learning over the past couple of weeks, because I'm not going to give it all up, and I feel like I'm getting out of the rut. I'm not quite out yet, but I feel like I'm getting there. And if you are feeling like you're going through something similar, even though your details are probably different than mine, then I'm hopeful that by me being willing and able to share this, that you might feel a little bit of hope. So I was sitting at church actually the other day, and the children were singing a song. And I don't know exactly if this was the title, but it was something like Be What We Believe. As I was listening, I just started thinking about the words in that title over and over again. And I listened to the song over and over again. And today, as I was thinking about the people in my life who I can see are what they believe, they're doing that, I admire them so much. Now, one of these people, her name's Rachel, and she's teaching an exercise class that I've been taking a couple of times a week. And she's so great. I can't wait to go to my exercise class a couple of times a week just to be able to learn from her. And what's so cute is that she really adapts all the exercises to meet my skill level, which is really low. Today she said, okay, we're doing these reverse pull-ups, and I'm like, Rachel, I have actually never done a pull-up in my life. She kind of smiles, but she helped me to kind of get started. Anyway, so cute. But she is in amazing physical condition. I mean, her arms are so buff and she is strong and she gets up there and she does the examples for us, and I'm just amazed at what great shape she's in. And she's a mom too, and I'm like, holy cow, she just like radiates strength. She's awesome. And when I look at her, I think, okay, Rachel is what she believes. She isn't here teaching me how to do some exercises because she's just trying to fill my time. She actually believes that when I do these exercises, that I'm going to become stronger. And I know that because I'm watching her, and this is what she does. I mean, to a different level, I'm sure. I was like, when do you exercise? She's like, oh, I'm going to do it after class. I'm sure that she's up there doing just a great job. But anyway, I feel like it's fun and exciting to learn from her because she is the evidence that what she's teaching works. So I love that. I also think about this man that I met recently. My husband and I went to a special fundraiser. I believe this man built and sold a multi-billion-dollar business, and now he's running this nonprofit organization to help impoverished families in developing nations. And I'm watching him leading and putting out his energy, and he's got a team working with him, doing good, raising funds, being able to help these people on such a personal level, to be able to take control of their financial situation and be able to actually provide for their families. And I'm watching that, and as I see how humble he is and how much he cares about the people that this organization is helping, I just see that integrity. I see that congruency. And these are the people who I really admire, because when I watch them, I just think, okay, this is what they believe and this is what they're doing. And it's evidence that they actually do believe what they say. They're walking the talk. And I love that. So I've identified just a few questions if we want to take a step-by-step approach on how we can not only get out of those ruts that we find ourselves in, but that we can be what we believe, and we can have more of that integrity and more of that congruency in our lives. And I'm just going to give you some examples as I've been answering these questions on my own. Okay, so number one, what beliefs do you want to live, but you are not currently living? Okay, so this is a question you might need to take some time to think about it, and we'll put the questions on the show notes page. And can you tell I'm just like sitting here in a parking lot? There's cars and people moving all around me. Isn't this fun? This is podcasting. So fun. Okay, so as I was thinking about the answer to this question, what belief do I want to live, but I'm not currently living? I actually found up with a couple. One of them is this belief: we each have a unique mission, and there are people who need us. I believe that 100%. But lately I feel like I haven't quite been living that, because I haven't really felt excited about living my mission. I've kind of been thinking, there's enough people out there who are making podcasts and posting on Instagram and doing stuff. I really don't need to be out there. Like, if I just decided to stop, it'd be fine. The world will go on. People don't really need me. And in some ways that's true. The world will go on. There are lots of people living their mission and doing great things. But I do believe that each one of us has a unique mission. Not everyone's mission is to podcast, but I feel in this case part of my mission is. And so if I truly believe that we each have a unique mission, then it doesn't make sense for me in a weak moment to tell my family that I'm ready to hang it all up. Like, that doesn't make sense. Okay, another belief is, and I know this one is totally silly, if you're not always camera ready, that doesn't need to stop you from living your mission. I do believe that. I believe that beauty comes in all shapes and sizes and formats. And I believe that some of the best advice I have ever received has come from individuals who did not have their hair and makeup done, and who weren't dressed to perfection, and who didn't have a professional photographer following them around. However, I have not been living that because I find that I don't even want to play the game of social media, especially because I'm usually not camera ready. Like, I hate shopping. I don't like getting my nails done. I don't really know very much about makeup. Like, I don't do that stuff very well. We don't have any professional photographers who follow me around. And so when I see people online who are so good at that, who have the perfect hair and nails and photography and who are putting that out there, I just find that I shrink because I think, well, how can I compete against that? When I've been, talking with my husband today and playing with my dog and working on the computer and talking with the kids and reading books, I don't always look great. So then I don't do things. Okay, it sounds silly even as I'm saying it because I'm really good friends with a lot of people who look great online all the time. And I think if they heard me saying this, they would actually think it was kind of ridiculous. So maybe I need to take this to them and find out what they would say. So anyway, those are just two beliefs that I identified. I know I have more, but I do encourage you to sit down and write down, what beliefs do I want to live? Like, what beliefs do I have and I want to live them, but I'm not? Okay? Eye-opening. And then for me to admit them on the podcast. Good thing you can edit podcasts. But I probably won't edit this one just because I think I just need to put this out there. Okay. Next question to consider. What beliefs do you have, even subconsciously, that need to go away? Now, we could just take the opposite of the beliefs that we talked about in question 1, but I think this is a different kind of question. As I started thinking about this in my own life, I came up with one really big answer that I'll share today. I'm sure I'll come up with more later, but for today, one belief I have that needs to go away is that I cannot teach or speak to or interact with males. And I know this is so weird, but I'm afraid of men other than my husband and my dad and my brothers. Okay, and the reason why is because I naturally love speaking with women. And I've taught seminars with women. I've taught classes at church with women. I like to sit with my sisters. I have 5 sisters, and I feel extremely comfortable speaking with women. But whenever I've taught a live class where there are men and women, it's so funny. And unless you've done it before, you might not know, or maybe you do. But when you speak to women, they encourage you with their smiles and they nod their head and they're really interactive. And then typically, the men in the room just kind of stare at you. Or maybe it was just me. I don't know. But when I was just podcasting at Power of Moms, I felt fine. I felt totally comfortable. I'm like, I'm speaking to my ladies. This is great. And then Eric and I started Learn Do Become, and I have been terrified for 3.5 years now, because there are men here too. Now, I know we mostly have women, so we have a lot of women who have really resonated with what we teach in our Steps to Everyday Productivity program, and yes, we have a lot of women. But for some reason, I've just been holding back because, number one, I've just kind of been waiting for Eric to talk more. And he loves joining me on the podcast sometimes, but he's not always in the mood for it. And it's just not good on a marriage to wake up in the morning and say, okay, honey, are you ready to podcast? Here's your topic. He doesn't want to do that. So I realized I just need to step up and just do the talking that I feel I need to do. And then Eric will join me when he wants to. But I also just want to say to any males who are listening, if you haven't turned off the podcast by now, that I do feel some kind of a fear in speaking with you or to you, because sometimes I worry, well, maybe my perspective is just so different than yours that it just won't matter. Or you'll think I'm weird. Okay, I don't know. But I also just want to say that there are a lot of males in our community who I have had the chance to meet and interact with. And I learn so much from you and having you in our community. And I'm hopeful that the things that I'm learning as I'm working on being organized and running a company and running a family, that these ideas can be helpful to you. And I know that I'm a little quirky, and I know that I probably resonate better with women than with men. But I'm learning I just have to get over that as well and stop being afraid. But if there's a male listening, that I don't know. Okay, I'll just stop there. I can't even process anymore there. I've still got to get over that one. Okay, so those were questions 1 and 2. And now we'll go to question 3. Where is your voice needed? Now, this applies to men and women. If we each have a unique mission, and if we each have an opportunity to be able to use our voices for good, where are our voices needed? Now, it might not just be one place. I believe, of course, it's going to be inside of our own families. Also might be inside of our companies or our places of work. But I believe that there's some place that our voice is needed. And I think it's important for each of us to consider this deeply. This isn't just kind of a passing thought. It's actually asking, where is my specific, unique voice needed? Because it's not needed everywhere. I worked at Disneyland right out of high school, and I think I could have stayed there forever. I loved Disneyland, and it was so fun. It was, I think, my second month of work, and people kept coming up to me and saying, "Is today your first day?" Because I was smiling, and I loved it. I cried my first day of work because I was so happy to be there, and I cried my last day of work because I was so sad to leave. So I loved working at Disneyland, but you know what? That's not where my voice is needed. It doesn't make sense for me right now to go back and work at Disneyland, because I believe my voice is needed at Learn, Do, Become and at Power of Moms. So that's why I'm doing the work here. I've also done projects in the past where I've done seminars or summits or done podcasts with other shows, and I've just had to really scale that down because I don't think that's where my voice is necessarily needed. As I have been going through a lot of these thoughts over the past week or two, I remembered writing a blog post on my personal blog years ago, and it was talking about never losing your voice. So I'm going to pause this for just 1 second and pull that up, and I'm going to read it to you in hopes that the message will help you just as it helped me. Okay, I just found the post. I'm going to read it to you. I do try to be careful in everything I share, that I'm not trying to make it religion specific. In this post, I do talk about feelings that I believe came from the adversary. Now, if you don't believe in an adversary, I want you to think of it as either the dark wolf inside or whatever you want to call it. But it's like the source of negative thoughts. Okay? Does that sound okay? All right. So this is called Never Lose Your Voice. And I wrote it back in March of 2013. I've been sick in bed for the past 3 days. I caught what my girls had, and I was down with a fever and then a cough and body aches, and I lost my voice. It became a scratchy, raspy whisper. When I lost my voice, I couldn't teach my class at church. I couldn't sing Baby Mine to Grace or read to the children at night. I couldn't carry on after-school conversations around the kitchen table. I couldn't talk on the phone with my mom. She used to be able to carry the conversation, but she's been in a bit of a fog lately, and she can't remember what to say. Now, this was prior to me knowing she had Alzheimer's, or that she was going to pass away from Alzheimer's. We did lose her this last October. I couldn't cheer Ethan on at his basketball game. I just kept pointing to the little photo button of him that I was wearing and giving him double thumbs up. I had to cancel our Power of Moms radio show for the week. and a teleclass I was supposed to record for another parenting website, and a podcast with the lovely Katrina Kennison, who I am so excited to interview. I couldn't return voicemails or answer the phone when the kindergarten teacher called me to tell me Spencer had a big bump on his head. He was fine. I couldn't go to lunch with a new friend. It's been kind of sad. But then last night, I hit a low when I started looking at all the balls I've been dropping since I got sick. So sorry if you were involved with one of those balls. Emails are stacking up in my inbox. A bunch of projects are at a standstill. Our children haven't been on top of all their responsibilities since they've been sick too, and I haven't set consequences in place well enough to really make sure they do all their jobs, so they know I'll usually pick up the slack. But since I'm sick, I haven't been able to, and so many things are being left undone, and my husband is feeling a little frustrated as well. I consider myself to be a pretty strong person, but by the end of last night, I was ready to call it quits. I was coughing deeply, retching into the sink, and dizzily walking back and forth in my bedroom with crazy hair and mismatched pajamas, trying not to collapse in tears. Eric had no idea what was going on in my head, and I tried to explain it to him, but all that came out was, I'm just trying to do too much. I can't do everything. Would it really matter if I just stopped doing all this? I'm just tired of trying to do so many things that might not even make that big of a difference, and sometimes I just want to stop. Does this sound familiar? That's why I went back and read it. I'm like, I know I've been here before. He held me and talked me through this low point, saying all the right things and getting me to settle into a steady breathing pattern. And then a soft voice came into my mind, reminding me of something I already knew about the adversary, or something I should have known. April, he wants you to lose your voice. But I already have lost my voice, I thought. And then it clicked. We weren't talking about my literal voice. We were talking about my other voice, my real voice. And this is a war in which every single one of us is a part. We've each been given an ability to express ourselves, to lift others, to offer encouragement, to extend support, to stand up for what we feel is right. And each person uses his or her voice in a unique way. It happens through music, through quiet conversations, through genuine smiles, through writing, and sometimes just by being there. But the grand plan of the adversary is to convince us all to deliberately lose our voices, because then he thinks he wins. I sat on my bed for a long time and thought about that. And then I apologized to God for letting myself act like such a quitter. Of course, there's no need to overdo it, and I need to seriously adjust my expectations when I'm sick. But giving up my voice, and I would add, giving up your voice, can no longer be an option. So I've been thinking about this a lot, thinking about the ability that I have right now to be able to sit in my car and record something on my phone, pour out my heart to my smartphone, and then broadcast it to all these different countries around the world to people I can't even see. How fun is that? But I'm hopeful that I can leave you with just a few things to be thinking about today that can help you in your life. When you ask yourself this third question, where is your voice needed? I want you to think about your experiences that you've had in your life. What have those experiences prepared you to do? I want you to think about the people who you've had the chance to learn from or just to watch and who you want to emulate. What are you able to do with your voice that another person just wouldn't be able to do? As I've been thinking about my mission and what I'm doing here at Learn, Do, Become, I love the mission statement that our team worked on last time we got together, where we talked about how we help people who are drowning in the details of life to create a system that helps them to do what matters most. this is what I get excited about, because I honestly believe that a command central on every desk would change the world. I honestly believe that the world needs more voices who are speaking up for families and for marriage. I believe that the world needs more people who are helping one another to connect with their higher power. And I believe that there is so much good that each of us can do. And we have the tools all around us, but sometimes we just don't know how to make it work. I'm learning a lot along the way, and I hope that you can see that I don't think that I have the answers to everything already. But I do know that there are answers available. And I know that as we ask good questions and as we think and perhaps pray, if that's something that you do, that I believe that there is a higher power who will help us. I haven't wanted to get out of bed every day the past couple of weeks. I have gotten out of bed. I feel like that's a good thing about having children who get up early, is I get up early with them. But I haven't wanted to necessarily. And as I'm thinking, though, more about where I can serve and where I can help, I thought, maybe being able to talk about the challenges that I face sometimes will just help you just to at least know that you're not alone. I'm actually starting to feel excited. I've been clearing a lot of space in my life. I've been cleaning up my emails, cleaning up all my computer files, cleaning up Asana, getting my desk organized. I ordered my new planner for next year. I'm really, as I'm creating this space, and I've said no to like a million things, but as I'm creating this space in my life and really thinking deeply about where I can best serve, I'm just feeling so much better. So, recording this podcast for you today is one step where I feel that I can use my voice to hopefully do some good. And part of me is thinking, I'm just going to delete this as soon as I'm done recording. Or maybe we'll just save it and I'll release it next year or something like that. But I think part of this process of building Learn, Do, Become is letting you see behind the scenes and being able to talk about the things that aren't always pretty so that you can see that I am also learning and doing and becoming. And just like I, so admire my trainer, Rachel, who has such great muscles and who is so strong and who is just so inspiring. I'm hopeful that as I show you that these principles and the things that we teach about how to organize your email and how to organize your papers and your projects, they really do work. I'm hopeful that I can help you to make those changes in your life too, so that you don't need to feel overwhelmed. All right, I'm going to finish up. I'm going to go drive home. Have an amazing day. If you have comments, if you're a male or female and you have comments, I would love for you to come and share them on the show notes page. You can find all of our podcasts at learndobecome.com/radio. I'm not saying the episode number here because I don't know if I'm going to release this soon or not. We'll see where it goes in the queue. But you can go to learndobecome.com/radio, find the episode. I would love to have you leave a comment and just let me know if you've identified some of those beliefs that you want to live or some beliefs that you need to let go of, or if you've had the chance to think about where your voice is needed. I don't know necessarily where your voice is needed if I don't know all of you, but I know it is. And I hope that this is helping you to find that. Have an amazing day. We'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.